I never know how loud the people next door are. But hi, I'm doing this on my YouTube today. I thought I would try something a little different. This is normally a stream that I do on my Instagram page, where I go through every single book on my pull list every single week and kind of let you know what I'm thinking, or how I'm feeling about everything I'm getting / reading. So far, there are 0 people in here, which is not surprising because my YouTube is a ghost town, and it's Wednesday night on YouTube, which is a very popular time for fellow comic people in this space to be doing stuff. So as far as I know, I'm just gonna do this into the void until somebody makes their presence known. I don't think anyone's gonna show up. I'm gonna stop shuffling. Yeah, it's a big stack. Holy moly. First week in a long time that all of our comics showed up when they're supposed to. So this is kind of like what a normal week looks and feels like for me. I do have someone here. That's exciting. Hi, Andrew. Just going through my weekly comic haul, starting with. Let's grab one at random here. Bah! Ooh, okay. This is A Time Before Time, issue number 9. I've actually read quite a lot of this stack already, including this one. This is a comic that I really like, and I don't feel like enough people are talking about it, even though I say that every single month. It's like a time travel crime story with some really fun artwork on the inside. Pretty sure that's not going to come off very well on this webcam that I'm working with here, but the colors are great, even though it's hard to see on this camera. That does not do justice to the way that these like highlighter yellows kind of pop in the background there. But if you like time travel and if you like crime stories, and this has even started getting like kind of funny in the last couple issues, which is normally not something it's comedy is kind of hard to do right in comics, but there's like this robot from the third millennium that has somehow ended up in the, I guess there's no present day really in this comic, but has ended up in the action right now, and he is he's working on me. I feel like that sort of character could be hit or miss, having like a sarcastic asshole robot in the mix. But it works. It works for me. And I think this is almost the end of the second story arc. This is Time Before Time, issue number 9. I went with the variant cover here, the cover B by artist. The artist is Danny, who actually did one of our variants way early though. It's been a long time. She did one of our mystery mail call variants. Honestly, I don't remember, and I don't think we have it up on the wall. I think it was Undiscovered Country, which is right here. I could be very wrong, but I'm pretty sure the Undiscovered Country variant that we have was done by Danny. She's a cool artist, and I'm glad to see her getting more and more work. Okay, next book on this stack of random books. Ooh, okay. This is very hard to read on this camera, but this is Batman the Knight. Like the Dark Knight, not like night, day, night. Knight with a K. I could have said that a lot cleaner. Batman the Knight, number 1 of 10. I think this is a 10-issue series by Chip Zdarsky, with art by somebody I'm not familiar with, actually. There we go. Carmine goodness, this is super Italian. Carmine Di Giandomenico. I probably butchered that. I'm sorry, Carmine. But this is a I don't want to say I was nervous for this comic, but this is a story about Bruce Wayne. This is a story told in a time that is usually glossed over in the beginning of like every Batman comic, right? Like every time you think of the Batman origin story, you know that he's a rich kid whose parents got shot in front of him and then he went across the sea to train in like Europe and learn martial arts, and then he comes back to Gotham City, and now he's Batman. Most comics kind of rush past that to get to the Batman stuff. But this first issue, at least, deals with him as like an angry teenager who is in therapy, who is getting in fights with other kids at his school, who is getting yelled at by Alfred, who is kind of like struggling with, now he's this kid's like caretaker instead of just a butler. He's like a parent now. It gets into a lot of stuff that most Batman comics I've read don't even address, which is kind of surprising. I'm assuming in upcoming issues of this story, we're going to actually see him train and become Batman. That really doesn't happen, obviously, in one issue. That we haven't gotten there yet. We're seeing the immediate aftermath of his parents' death and like his grieving process, and it's really good. But it's Chip Zdarsky, and he's definitely one of those writers that like I will just whatever he's writing, I will take a very, very long look at, if not just automatically subscribe. I wonder if Ghostmaker is mentioned. That is a very good point, Andrew. Ghostmaker being that character that James Tynion created as somebody who was kind of like training alongside Batman. I don't know if alongside Bruce Wayne is like the exact right way to phrase it, but they were both kind of doing the same thing in the same area around the same time. I don't know. That'll be interesting. Ghostmaker is kind of staying around more than I thought he would now that Tynion has left the Batman run. So we'll see how that goes moving forward. But no, I enjoyed this one quite a bit, actually, more than I thought I would, even though it's a Zdarsky comic. Circumstances. I know how to say your name now. I remember you from my interview with No Good Comics. Good to see you here. I'm just going through the remainder of my weekly haul. I've done 2 so far. Ghostmaker is whack. I'm assuming that means bad. I'm not cool with the lingo, but I wouldn't disagree. He's kind of a weird character. He's definitely just like a white Batman, like literally, not like skin color, but like his outfit is all white. I didn't really care for the character. I don't think he was very necessary, so I kind of hope he doesn't show up in this run. But we'll see what happens. Next random book on this pile. What is this? Out number 4 of 5. I really like this book. Actually, I like it so much that I pre-ordered the trade paperback today, which I don't usually do. I really want to like Ghostmaker, but haven't been able to yet. Yeah, as far as all the characters that James Tynion introduced in his run, I have been mostly drawn to like Clown Hunter. I really like that guy. He's a cool kid, but I don't see any of those guys really kind of sticking around long term. Maybe Punchline, but even her. Out is one of my favorites from AWA. It's like a combination horror, war, prisoner story. So yeah, no, there's horror vibes, there's war vibes, and there's like it's like a prison story. So it's like a mix of all three. And this comic has so far been about Nazis who dug up a vampire in the middle of Europe somewhere and are testing it out at this concentration camp to kind of see if they can use this vampire to help them in the war effort. Love the art, says Circumstances. It feels so perfect for the book. I would agree. Yes, the art is done by Will Conrad in this comic, and it's very moody. It's very real feeling. This feels like an adaptation of a movie that hasn't been made yet. I would very much like to see this done in a movie. If they manage to capture the same kind of like dark, spooky, ominous tone that this comic has, it could make for a very unique and scary movie. This story I don't think has the legs to be any kind of series, but as a movie, I think Out would be phenomenal if it's anything like this comic, which is one of my favorite books to ever come out of AWA, which is saying a lot because they're my favorite publisher. It's been a really good book, but again, I really love AWA. If you've ever watched anything of me that I've done basically on any camera ever, I have sang the praises of that publisher. They don't really do many bad comics. Next book, Regarding the Matter of Oswald's Body, is this number 3. I have not read this one yet. This was kind of, I don't want to say it was marketed as like a Department of Truth knockoff, but that's kind of what we all see it as, I guess. It's like a conspiracy book about Lee Harvey Oswald, but it's definitely taking like a, I don't like the direction this book is going. It's definitely less a Department of Truth and more like, I don't know, like a heist. Like it's this guy who's assembling this crew of criminals to pull off some kind of heist or something. Not exactly a heist, but it's got those vibes. And it's not my favorite book, which is disappointing because I really like the writer, Christopher Cantwell. Has written some pretty good books that I've enjoyed, but not this one. I mean, I don't want to judge until it's all done, and I'll stick with a book much longer than I've stuck with worse books much longer than they deserve. And this is not a bad book. It's just not what I was hoping it would be. I want something much more similar to Department of Truth, and this ain't it. Sorry, Boom. Ooh, Detective Comics. This is number 1049. We are still missing, at our shop, we are still missing a shipment of DC Comics from 3 weeks ago at this point, which Detective Comics recently started a weekly story arc, and the shipment of DC Comics that has the first part of that story is not at our store. It should be here sometime this weekend, hopefully. But until then, I can't read Detective Comics until I get that batch of comics. So I have no idea how the current Arkham Tower storyline is going. I hope it's good. The art inside is actually, I'm going to take a look. I haven't even opened any of these books yet. Hey, John. Yeah, I thought I would try this on YouTube instead of Instagram. I don't know why. Maybe somebody like you could tell me the difference algorithm-wise or, subscriber growth-wise or whatever. I'm going to take a look at the art in here because it's done by Ivan Rice, who is a Green Lantern artist back when Jeff Johns was on Green Lantern, and I really liked his artwork there. I have no idea what's happening in the story because, again, our shop has not gotten issue or part 1 of this storyline. It's not bad. Andrew says it's hard to stay on Detective with that weekly format. I could see maybe someone making that argument, but for me, I am forgetful as hell. So having a book come out every single week is actually better for somebody like me, because then I don't have to necessarily go back and read the prior issue before reading the current one, which is usually how I read comics because I forget everything I do. Having a month in between issues means I'm toast. I don't remember what the hell I just read last month, so I got to grab that one and then read it before the new one. So actually a weekly story, maybe bi-weekly is a good middle ground or something, but monthly is a little too long for my old man brain. As if I'd mastered anything on either platform. John, you are the master. Don't sell yourself short, man. It's like the only time I've ever complimented you. That's not true. What is this? Wonder Woman 783. Who does this variant? Variant covered by Will Murai. I am behind on Wonder Woman. I missed issue like an issue 5 or 6 issues ago. I have it. I finally got it, but ever since then, I haven't been current. So I'll get around to it. But this is an enormous pile of books that I have every single week. So I never end up really having a lot of time to read older stuff, even though this is only a couple months old. I'm extremely current, but not as current as I would like to be on some titles like Detective Comics or Wonder Woman. Did you like Green Lantern this week? I think that series is getting better. I have not read Green Lantern this week. It is somewhere in this pile. Nope. That would have been really cool, though. This is Silver Coin, issue number 8. I think this is my favorite issue of this series so far. If you have not read Silver Coin, it's an anthology series where the artist stays the same every month, but the writer changes. So this one is written by Matthew Rosenberg and drawn by Michael Walsh, like they all are. But each story in this comic tells the story of a person who comes across this cursed coin. And they come across this cursed coin, and for some, it changes every issue, whatever happens to this person after they come across the coin. But in this issue, it is the janitor at like a Wall Street firm, like a banking, I'm totally not saying the right place, like a stockbroker building, skyscraper place in New York. It's a janitor who works there, and one of the rich dudes who works in the place buys like a coin collection from some eccentric old mystical man, and the janitor happens to be in the room while this transaction happens, and he kind of catches a glimpse of the coin, and I guess he's close enough to it, or he sees it, and he kind of like catches the curse, if you will. He kind of like becomes obsessed with this coin, and it's like a weird janitor stockbroker revenge story. I'm not explaining it very well, but something about this issue in particular really kind of resonated with me more so than any of the other ones I've read. It's I don't know. I can't explain why I like it without spoiling it, but it's probably my favorite one so far. There's more people in the chat than I realized. Let's see what's going on. Silvercoin lost me a few issues back. That's fair, but I get a nice discount at a comic shop, so I can be a little more forgiving with books. And it's a horror comic, so I'm like double forgiving. Silvercoin has been up and down, but trending up lately. Yeah, I think I'm enjoying this. I guess you can't call it a story arc because each issue is different, but the first 5 issues I think were in the first trade, and then I've been enjoying everything since then, like quite a bit. But I also really don't think I've maybe only disliked one issue of this where it was like a weird future sci-fi story that didn't really land for me in any real way. But ever since then, I've been a fan. I've been a fan since issue 1, but whatever. Also, I hate calling myself a fan of stuff. Anyway, have they ever alluded to the coin being like one of the silver pieces of silver? Ooh, that would be kind of cool. Yeah, hi Nashville. I know your name now. It took me a while, but I'm glad you clarified. Blech. Have they ever alluded to the coin being one of the silver pieces Judas got for betraying Jesus? That would be really cool. They haven't gone that far back in time. But that's one of the things I like most about this comic is that it's like almost like it's told from the coin's perspective, because it's the same coin, but each story is at a different period of time. This one is in the mid 60s for context, whatever context that gives you. All right, moving on. What's next? What is this? Oh, Silver Surfer Rebirth. This is the Peach Momoko variant of Silver Surfer Rebirth. I have not read this yet. Looking forward to it, though. I don't know what else to say about this one. I don't know anything about it. Now I'm excited to read it, though. For somebody who did a multi-year breakdown of Silver Surfer and Infinity Gauntlet, I really don't know a lot about that character, surprisingly. I haven't read much Silver Surfer, apart from whatever issues were in that run around Infinity Gauntlet time. I read Silver Surfer Black. I think that's it. Yeah, I got a lot to learn. Hey, Bearded. Just going through my haul. I still have this amount of books left. It's kind of a lot. But what's next, you say? Oh. If this was not about to end, I would drop it. And I don't cancel books. I really don't. But this book has been a big letdown. This is Almost American. I think this is number 4. Yeah, number 4 from Aftershock. It has been a big disappointment. It's a true story about 2 Russian government operatives who they decide that their career, the things they've seen have kind of scarred them. So they decide to like flee the country and turn state's evidence, I guess. And they come to America, and the CIA and the FBI are both kind of like squabbling over who owns these people and their secrets. And since it's a true story, there's like this weird feeling that runs under the story. Like it's more interested in telling how they got there, but nothing really happens. Like most of, especially this issue, most of it is the husband and wife kind of sitting in their like hotel room, basically like talking to each other. And there's one issue left, and nothing's really happening, and it's not good. I haven't been enjoying it, which is a bummer because it's like a political conspiracy thriller, or at least that's what it's supposed to be. And it's not. It's not thrilling in any way. And especially because it's a true story. They survive to tell the tale, so they're fine. Whatever happens, they're not gonna get hurt or get killed or anything by the end of this comic. So there's like no stakes to speak of. I'm just not a fan. I saw 2 people I really trust say this issue was top 3 this week. Yeah, you're gonna have to like show me those people. I would also like to see what their other 2 picks were, because out of everything I've read so far this week, and I've read quite a bit of this pile actually, this is the worst. The series as a whole, I think, has also just been a big disappointment. I also read issue 2, 3, and then 4. So I read the majority of the series in one sitting, and not my jam. Boom! What's this? Amazing Spider-Man 86? I'm also behind on this. I missed issue 83, I think. I finally got that, so I'm going to read all that and get caught up on Spider-Man. But I'm enjoying it. It's Spider-Man. I hope they go back to a monthly or at least bi-weekly release schedule pretty soon. The pace is starting to catch up with me, especially when you miss an issue and books come out so fast. You get so behind, which is where I'm at now with Spider-Man. The one week we don't do a show and you actually read all your comics. Yeah, I know. I read quite a bit. But I think you were the first one to back out this week, my friend. Although I also am backing out because it's mystery mail call time. Everything behind me, at least, is all ready to go. So when I'm done with this live stream, I'm gonna do some of that for a little bit. Next book. Ooh, this is Catwoman 39 with I got the main cover by Jeff Deckel. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I really enjoy his artwork. This is a new creative team, Teeny Howard, and I should look at the inside. I don't know who did the artwork on here, but this was a really fun book. This is my first Catwoman book, and I decided to jump on it because I don't really have a lot of familiarity with this character or this. Nico Leon is the artist. But the premise basically is that there are these like crime lords having a fancy meeting, or not. It's not really that fancy, but they're having a meeting at a strip club. So Selena Kyle goes undercover as like a stripper to kind of like catch the bad guys, and it was a really good book. I was pleasantly surprised, although it was a little bit wordy. If I had to pick one thing to critique. There were a lot of words on every page, which I guess is, we're reading. So there will be words involved. That's kind of inherent in the promise of a comic book. But I liked it. I'm glad I tried something new. Yeah, it was fun. Plus, there's good visuals. The art's fun. It's at a strip club, so that's exciting. Who doesn't love strippers? Almost totally missed this because it wasn't on Insta. Yeah, I made a story about it, but I didn't. I don't know. I feel like I should do this on YouTube. Like, that's a whole nother conversation. But like, I don't feel like there's any benefit to doing this on Instagram versus YouTube. The audience is pretty comparable. It's never really breached like 10 people. I'm shocked this hasn't been done before. Catwoman as a stripper. Yeah, it's very much done as like a one-time kind of get into spy sort of thing. I don't think that's going to be the story arc for, the whole run or whatever, but at least for an issue or two. I'm not sure how long they're going to keep that going, but I got the vibe while reading that comic that it wasn't an ongoing thing. I didn't see the story, I wouldn't have known. Well, yeah, I'm just doing it, doing it just to do it. I don't really care about the views or like the clout. I'm just doing it for the love of the game. Next comic, Defenders. This is number 5, a variant by Michael Allred. I really want to like this comic, but I don't love it. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. And it's very trippy. I haven't read this issue yet, and I think this is the final issue, if I'm not mistaken. I think this is the end of the miniseries. There might be one more. It's very out there. It's not bad, which is good. That's a good sentence. It's not a bad comic. It's just extremely trippy. There's a lot of time travel and not multiverse concepts that go on in that comic, but like there's a lot happening in that book, and it's very it's not very new reader friendly. Not that I'm a new reader or anything, but I don't know. It's hard to describe. I don't love that book, but I don't hate it. So I don't want to say I can recommend it either, but I don't not recommend it. Fire Guy Ryan. It's the final issue, says Nashville. Okay. Fire Guy is the only reason I watch Comic Tom. It's called Street Cred. I am the only reason I watch Comic Tom either. I watch the stuff I do. And I guess I watched that interview he did with Reggie. That was good. And they have good banter. I don't know if that's even called banter. That was like a professional interview. But other than that, sorry, Tom. Next book is Ma. This is number 6 of 6 or 5 of 5, whichever number it is. This is the final issue of the story. I swear this is an homage to a movie, this variant cover, and it's been bugging me. I can't place it, but this story ended really well. I have liked this run the whole time. It's extremely dark. It's a comic like built around the concepts of sexual assault and rape and I guess patriarchy, even though using that word feels kind of lame, but definitely about oppressed women living in a world where men suck. And so the main character gets assaulted and becomes like some kind of almost Lovecraftian kind of like water monster who just kind of gets revenge. I feel like that's selling this book short because there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of themes, and it's obviously a very difficult subject to tell a story about. But now that it's all said and done, I think it was handled very well, and I am looking forward to going back and reading the whole thing all in one sitting, which, especially for a book like this, is how it needs to be consumed. It's one of those things. I got the same feeling when I read Mom, Mother of Madness last year, where like I read that comic and I realized like as much as I like it, it's not necessarily, I don't want to say it's not for me because I'm a man, but it makes me appreciate the different perspective, I guess, if that's making any sense. It's a cool book, but it's very hard to recommend because it has like a trigger warning basically at the top of every issue. Like this book deals with some pretty sensitive subjects, and it's not for everyone, but everybody who can handle it, I think, should read it, if only to kind of, make you think. Moving on. Here we go. Something completely different. This is Hulk number 3. There is no sexual assault in this comic. No trigger warnings here, although maybe there should be for cheese, I guess, for even just for this ugly ass Wolverine. This book is a little frustrating at this point. We're 3 issues in, and although this issue does help kind of clarify what exactly is happening, I'm still a little lost. Like, Hulk is a spaceship now, and Bruce Banner is the captain of this ship. And in this issue, they have crossed over into a different dimension. and they meet an alternate universe Bruce Banner. And it's a little frustrating because it's almost like Lost, where just when you think you kind of are starting to understand what's happening, it gets even more confusing. But Lost was fun while confusing, and this is just kind of like barely makes sense. And I'm gonna stick with it because I just need to read more Hulk. I need to learn more about this character in this world. Although I don't think this is it's not extremely educational. I'm not going to learn a lot about like the lore because a lot of new stuff is happening in this story. But I have faith that Donny Cates can build to something good. And I really like the artwork in here. I really think Ryan Ottley has grown so much as an artist, especially when you look back at like early Invincible stuff and to see the way he progressed, even from early to late Invincible. He grew a lot as an artist, and his techniques greatly improved. And seeing him transition from that, for me at least, it was Invincible to Spider-Man to Hulk. It's just nice to see someone develop. So like for me, this is mostly a Ryan Ottley book, weirdly enough, even considering how much I like Donny Cates. I'm not really 100% sold or on board with Spaceship Hulk. So I really want to like that book, and I don't love it. I would put it in like 6, maybe 7 out of 10 range, somewhere there. It's not a great letter grade if we're talking high school. It's like a C or a D. Maybe I need to go a little. It's better than that. So like B minus, C plus. Moving on. I'm moving on. Oh God. Okay, I'm interested to see if anybody else has read this so far. This may be my biggest disappointment of the week. I was really looking forward to reading this. I am very much on board with the Jen Bartel cover A's for this run. But holy smokes, this book went nowhere, and I did not care for it. I did not care for it at all, and I was extremely let down. This is my first She-Hulk comic ever. So do with that information what you will. I know that there are better runs than this, or at least more classic runs. I own at least the first volume of Sensational She-Hulk, the John Byrne run. So I know that's the run that people say is that's where you should start. Especially for a character who is about to get a show. She's about to like have her live action debut, and this is the most recent #1. They should have done a lot better on this. Like, half of this issue is her fighting somebody in the street. Titania, I think it was. She has a fight with some other. She's not even really a villain, I guess. They're bantering the whole time, and it's literally like half the book. Like, you get to the staples in the center of the book before something else happens, and like for a debut issue to waste half of its time with a fist fight in the street is really disappointing. And I wanted more from that book. Again, it takes a lot for me to cancel a comic. I'm going to keep going with She-Hulk. I have faith that it can build to something good, but I was extremely let down. The comparison that comes to mind, like, it's the same reason I got the Moon Knight comic that recently started. I guess it started like 6 months ago at this point. But I knew there was a show coming, and I know that I don't really know anything about Moon Knight. I haven't really read a lot of Moon Knight comics. And so I wanted to make sure to get on that run and start reading that before the show comes out. And it turns out that comic's really pretty good. Like, I've been enjoying Moon Knight quite a bit in this current run. And I think once people see that show, and if they were to ask what Moon Knight comic should I read, that would not be a bad run to kind of give them to, especially since it's still relatively fresh, and they could maybe even set up a pull list and get it ongoing. But I would have a hard time like recommending this She-Hulk comic to somebody, especially in light of the fact that so many new people are going to be introduced to her. The same problem I had with Eternals, the Eternals comic that's going on right now. Like, you're going to get so many new people brought into this world, and to have the most recent current run of that storyline be anything other than fantastic and new reader friendly is a big mistake, it feels like. Hey, Perry's here. What's up, bro? That's how I talk. What's up, bro? John's Comics with Kids. Okay, I'm back. Finally done reading all my new books. That was fast. Ooh, I can add a moderator. There we go. You are the first moderator on my channel, John. That's exciting. I have to repay you for making me a moderator. Big mistake. All right, next book. Ooh, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, number 7. Variant cover by Nicola Scott and Annette Kwok. That's a cool cover. It almost gives me like votive candle. That's not the right word. Not, you know those candles with the Virgin Mary? I'm totally. It's not a votive. Those are like, aren't those the little ones, the little circled ones? I'm butchering this. Just going to end the stream. Just end the stream right now. Are they votive candles? You know, those candles that people get with the Virgin Mary on it. Anyway, I have not read this yet. This is the next to last issue. This is an 8-issue series. This is number 7. If you scroll back on my YouTube videos, you don't have to scroll that far. I'm pretty sure it's the last video I did was a top 10 of 2021. This comic made it onto my best comics of the year list. It's really good. I'm kind of sad that it's about to end, but I would rather it end and be strong and short than kind of linger on and fizzle out. Agreed, Paul. This was a great issue. Okay, well, I mean, they've all been great. I'm almost taking Supergirl for granted. Like every issue of this has been outstanding, and it would be a bigger surprise if it was lame. Which I don't know. I'm worried. I'm worried that stuff is not going to go right by the end, but it will. There we go. I could feel this one. I think this is the thickest book I have. Here you go, John. You came back just in time for me to tell you that I have not read Green Lantern number 10 yet. But John really likes it. I have not been enjoying this run, if I'm being 100% honest. It's been a little scattershot lately. It's been kind of all over the place, and I haven't really felt any kind of cohesive story, or I don't know, at least for the first issues that I've read in this run, so the first 9, it's been 2 separate storylines, or maybe even 3 separate storylines that have yet to really kind of link up and make sense. I don't know. It's almost like, obviously it's a space epic, so saying that there's too much going on in here is kind of, you know that when you sign up to read this, but I don't know. I would like a little more intimate, focused, small scale story. And I'm sure we'll get there, but I love this variant. Who did this? Marco Santucci. I love that guy. Where are you? There we go. I mean, there's a bunch of guys down there, so that's cool. But that guy with like the 3 heads on his head, that's fun. And a little terrifying. Basically, the more Sinestro you can put in a Green Lantern story, the better. My favorite character in all of comics. The thicker, the better. Thank you, Perry, for that insightful commentary. Pretty weird shit. Yeah, Green Lantern has a lot of weird characters in it, but that's kind of like at least half the fun, is seeing all the crazy aliens, space cop aliens. Crimson Cage number 2. I'm really excited to get to this one. I have not read this yet. I read the first issue last month, obviously. This is from AWA, a 5-issue miniseries. Yeah. From John Lee and art by Alex Cormack. This is actually, Biggie, since you're here, I know you are a big wrestler person. I don't know if this book is on your radar at all, but this is a wrestling comic, which is something I never thought I would ever get because I don't like wrestling. But this is Macbeth. Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. Just the first page. is the classic like wrestler yelling into the camera. I'm hearing this in in Macho Man Randy Savage's voice, which is fantastic. This is a wrestling comic. It's the plot of Macbeth, but told in the world of 1980s wrestling, which is the weirdest premise I've ever heard in my entire life, but it works. It works really well in this comic. It's this kind of low tier, almost washed up wrestler who is desperate to kind of be the best. And his wife is kind of helping him plot and scheme to take the belt. Is that what you call it? Take the championship belt or whatever from the champion. So like it's got Macbeth story, but told in a really gross 80s wrestling world. So it's fun. It's fun, but it's also like gross. It's a really cool book. Like I'm surprised. I'm glad I took a chance, but I'm not really taking a chance because it's AWA, man. They don't really do bad books. AWA Upshot, baby. Issue 2 of 5. And I love that they tell you up front, like, this is how long it's going to be. Don't worry. Oh, God. Oh. Primordial number 5. I think there's one issue left in this run. I don't want to spoil it necessarily, but this book is so sad. It's about a dog and 2 different monkeys that get blasted into space during the Cold War. And while they're in space, they meet some kind of alien ship that gives them hyper advanced intelligence. And the comic is about their kind of adventure to get back home. And there's not very much dialogue in this story, but it's very stressful because you grow to love these 3 animals in here, and you really don't want anything to happen to them. 1 issue left. That's all I'll say. Next book. What is this? Nightwing 88. Yeah. It's a fun variant. I dig the colors on this book. The pink light through the window, the green screen on the computer there. The glasses kind of make everything go out of focus. It's good. I haven't read this one yet, but following up the previous issue of Nightwing, which was one continuous image, I'm assuming this goes like back to normal in a sense. Like, I hope. I don't want them to do like a weird gimmick every issue. I think that would kind of dilute the power of that experiment last month. But this is still like one of my favorite books right now. What did I ranked this at number 3 out of 10 of my top 10 2021 books. This is my favorite. This is my favorite superhero comic, actually. Nightwing's really good. If you still haven't read it, you're missing out. And there are still a handful of books left here. 4? I can count to 4. Yep, there's 4 left. Thank you guys for hanging out so far. This is 43 minutes. This is a long one. And I'm kind of even trying to rush some of these because I haven't read them, and it's oh my goodness, it's 8:15 at night, and I still got to work. Okay. Superman, good. I haven't read this one yet either, so that'll be quick. Superman, son of Kal-El, number 7. Is he picking his nose? Oh no, he's holding his nose. He's holding his breath with Aqualad. I think that's who that is. It's a cool variant in Hyuk Lee. I really like this book. It did not make my top 10, which I don't know. If I were to expand my favorite 10 books to maybe favorite 15 or 20, that would definitely be on the list. But as far as 10 goes, not on that one. The longer the better, says Perry. Well played. Do you use Russ for your LCS? Yes, Mill Geek Comics is my local comic shop. I also work there. So I don't even have to leave. I get my comics at work, which is kind of nice. I don't have to go to another place. I'm lazy. I don't like going places. Animal Castle number 2. Another one I have not read yet. I enjoyed the first issue quite a bit. This is, I am told this is Animal Farm mixed with Stray Dogs. I have not read Animal Farm. We did not have to read that in my high school for some reason. I'm not really sure why. I keep meaning to go back and like actually read Animal Farm, but I don't have time to read like non-comics. I don't have time to read these comics, let alone any other comics, let alone novels, which is kind of sad. I don't have enough time to read stuff, even the stuff I have to read for my job. Ooh, this is The Rush, number 3. I was trying to think about how best to describe or talk about this comic while I was reading it. It is about a mother. This takes place in the mid 1800s during like the gold rush. It is about a mother who is trying to find her son after he kind of runs away from home to mine for gold in like the middle of the frozen like Canadian wilderness. And it very quickly turns it into a horror story, but it's also got this like incredibly accurate period dialogue. So if you, the best closest comparison I can think of is the HBO show Deadwood, which you should all watch because it's awesome. But that also takes place in this same time period, and both Deadwood and The Rush have a very accurate old-timey sense of dialogue. So the most unique / maybe even most difficult part about reading this comic is you have to read it really slow because it's almost like a foreign language, the way that the people in this comic talk. But there's also some like supernatural stuff hiding in the forest around these like mining towns that this mom is kind of like wandering through to try and find her son. It's very foreboding. It's very creepy. And there's a lot of emotion in here because obviously, you know, a parent trying to find their child is stressful. I think this is one of my favorite books out right now, but I can't like say that it is because it's so hard to describe and it's so hard to recommend. But if you are into historical fiction and if you are into horror, then it's definitely worth a try. Although I think a book like this is not really going to be easy to find. This isn't something like at our shop. I think we order like 3 copies of this comic and they all go to people who request them. This is not the type of book that we order extra copies of to sit on the wall and hope somebody walks in off the street to pick up The Rush issue number 3. Like that's the reason why I like to go through the previews guide every month and pre-order the stuff that looks the most interesting to me, because I know that I won't be able to just walk into a shop and find a book like The Rush. Although I'm going with the variant covers here by Martin Simmons. This is the same artist who does the Department of Truth. And each variant cover so far has been this really creepy kind of nature scene, which I've really liked. This is like a blood river here. Not bad. Got this guy like panning for gold down here. It's fun. It's good stuff. I recommend it if you have the stomach for historical horror with giant spiders. There's a lot of spiders in that comic too. So if you're not a spider person, is anybody like pro spider? Whatever. It's a weird one. It's a weird book. Hi, Aaron. Glad to see you drop some weights to pick up your phone and check me out on YouTube. That's fun. Thank you. You're a comic professional. Work, collect, and breathe comics. I eat comics too. If you don't know, there is a mechanic right on the other side of this wall, and they just drove what sounds like a tank inside. So that's fun. All right. The last book on my pull list, I have not read this yet, so that'll be quick. This is Moon Knight number 7. It looks like he's fighting a Minotaur back there. That doesn't make any sense. I'm interested to crack this one open and see what the hell is going on this image, because that makes no sense. He's been fighting like vampires this whole time, so to see him like going up against Electro, does she go by Electra? Nope, that name's taken already. Electro and a bunch of spider villains. Yeah, there's that like pumpkin head guy. I don't know Spider-Man villains. I don't know anything. What am I even doing? Oh my god, this is a heavy pile. So yeah, this is it. That's all I got this week. This is quite a lot, as you can see. I've actually read like half of this, which is good. I'm gonna try and read the other half like tonight, tomorrow. As long as I read it all by next New Comic Book Day, I'll be in good shape. So thank you guys for joining me. Sorry, this was last minute on YouTube instead of on Instagram, but it doesn't really matter. I just want to have a record of all of this stuff. I just want to show off what I got, and whoever's here is here. And if you're some weirdo sitting through this whole thing after I've already stopped, thanks, I guess. I'm gonna do some mystery mail call stuff now because that's where I am. I hope you guys have a good night, and I hope you read some cool comics. Bye.